Today is a very special day for the European Courts. The first time it's made a judgment in Irish. Has this always been a possibility? Why is this the first time that this has happened?
Right. Not to correct you, but to be more specific, this is the first time that the proceedings of a case were conducted in Irish. We have already had cases, judgments, translated into Irish, but this is the first time that the proceedings of a case from start to finish were in Irish. It has always been possible, always, ever since Ireland joined at the time the European communities, it was possible for an Irish citizen to go to court in Ireland, and then when the court refers a case to our court, the Court of Justice in Luxembourg, it could have done it in Irish. No one has chosen to do that until this case. So this is the first time, that is why this is the first time we have a case that from start to finish was dealt with in Irish. What does that mean? It means that the person pleading the case before their court in their national, in their home state, can do so in their language. When the case gets to our court, it gets here in Irish, in this case. We translate it into French, which is the working language of the court, because the judges work in French. And then when the final result is out, it is translated firstly into the language of the case so that it is accessible to the citizens who have made the case.
Do you have the expertise in-house of Irish speakers?
Right. So the court speaks in 24 languages. Irish is now the 24th language to have had a case with proceedings in that language. Difficulty is a relative term in the sense that what we have is a structure to allow for cases to be dealt with in the language in which they arrive. So we have a large part of the court's employees are dealing with language questions. So you have interpreters, because when you have a hearing in a case, the case is heard in the language of the case with direct immediate interpretation. And you have the translation unit, which is a large part of our institution, which is made up, every translation unit, every language is made up of what we call jurist linguists, because they are people who are specialized first in law and then in language. So they are there to translate all the texts into the different languages. It is a huge amount of work, but it works. It is very smooth because it has been perfected over time. And Irish, I told you before, it has been possible since 1973 to introduce cases in Irish. What happened since, in around 2007, following the enlargement, the large enlargement with 10 new states joining, those 10 states had asked for having their languages to be written as an official language. Now, Irish was already a working language, a treaty language, but was not a working language. And in 2007, Ireland asked for Irish to be added to the list of working languages. There has been a transition period, and from the 1st of January of next year, 2022, Irish will be officially joining all the other languages. That means that not only cases where proceedings are in Irish, but as happens with all other cases, whenever a judgment is finalized, it is then translated into every other official language. So for that reason, there has been, and it's growing, an Irish jurist linguist unit targeting translations and working on translations. So is it difficult? It is probably, I mean, there are certain languages. I come from Malta, which is the smallest member state. We have a relatively small population, so it is difficult to find people to staff these departments. But it is not impossible, and the unit is ready to go for this challenge, this new challenge in 2022, when all judgments will be available in Irish.
My final question, is it pure coincidence that this judgment is coming out on St. Patrick's Day?
The official answer has to be yes, the official answer. I mean, for us at the press office, we jump at these occasions because it allows us to pepper some glitter on cases which don't remain just technical, but there's an anecdote to be said. Of course, a case has, as I've been saying, has its procedure. There are deadlines, translations, drafting of judgment. So it would be a bit far-fetched to think that stretched deadlines or shortened them in order to hit St. Patrick's. But I like to think that there some magic up above was happening, and we have a good occasion to celebrate the first Irish case on St. Patrick's Day.
Divine intervention.
Divine intervention. That's it. That's it.
Jacques, thank you very much indeed.
Been a pleasure.